Welcome everybody to another edition of Before I Do, the show that shares with you everything that should be done before saying I do, whether you are single, dating, engaged, want to be married, not sure if you want to be married. We are here to facilitate courageous conversations on dating and relationships.
Absolutely. This show is interactive. So when we pose our speak now forever hold your peace question, please do not hold your peace. And like Walter said, hey, if you want to sing, let me tell you, that's a good strategy. Okay. If you can sing and you got the pipes, okay, then, that's going to be helpful in this dating game. As a matter of fact, not just to be able to sing, but to sing. When you have graduated to sing, you got some skill sets that we need to talk about to get you moving in your dating life.
Shout out to Laquita. Good evening, Laquita. She is laughing already. Hey. And yes, I'm in a good mood. I'm stumbling over my words because I'm excited. We are just coming back from the inaugural Couples Academy Phoenix Awards Gala. It was absolutely amazing. My expectations were super high, and the event absolutely blew them away. It was an amazing, beautiful sight. There were a lot of people there. I meant to ask how many people attended, but it was standing room only. It was a capacity crowd. It was an amazing night. It was beautiful. There were singles, there were couples, there was great singing, there was interpretive dance. Well, we got the opportunity to share a poem together. Everybody seemed to really enjoy it. And then at the end of the night, y'all know we from Florida. Y'all know we from Florida.
Don't tell the people all the business.
I'm just saying.
Don't tell the people
I'm just gonna
all
put that
the
out there.
business.
I'm just gonna put that out there. I know I see Danielle. Want to say hello to Miss Danielle. Danielle's tuned in. Danielle and Hassani, the two co-founders of the Couples Academy. So thank you so much, Danielle, for your leadership and your belief in absolutely putting it together. And
I gotta say something about the queen.
Yeah,
she walked in the room. She was laid out. All the glory. Yeah. Okay, the gold. It was just beautiful. Yeah. She looked like the Phoenix.
Yes, she did.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just saying, our CEOs, COOs, they're just, they model the model, talk the talk, walk the walk, and the magic was just, in the air. Seeing everyone dress up. Seeing the flirting in the room, since we're talking about flirting. There was all kind of flirt psychology in the room on that night. So
Danielle says she understood the assignment. Yes, you did.
Yes,
you did. Absolutely beautiful. So for you all, again, that may be tuning in, we are talking about the Phoenix Awards Gala. It was the inaugural one that took place this past weekend. If you missed it, be sure that you do not miss next year's. It will be in October of 2024. Go ahead and start saving up.
Yes.
Schedule your time off because you will want to be there. Congratulations to all of the award recipients and to everyone that attended. It was just an absolutely amazing night. So speaking of the awards gala, I observed some flirting going on. I don't want to point and call anybody out.
It was on. Okay.
So our topic for this month, we are talking about what is your flirt language. We're talking about the age-old art of flirting. Is it something that is still relevant in this day and age? We believe that it absolutely is. And so it's important for us to make sure that it is done right. And so we talked about and got into flirting last week, and it was defined as an often subtle behavior or form of communication that emphasizes body language, in which someone is showing interest in someone else, engaging with someone for sexual desire, or just playfully for amusement. Be sure that you keep the second half of that definition in mind.
Yes, and I just wanted to say, when you read the definition, you need to read it as if a flirt would. So you need to say an often subtle behavior and a form of communication that emphasizes body language in which someone is showing interest in someone else, engaging with someone for sexual desire, or just playful for amusement.
Okay, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. So again, we talked about flirting again and defined it, and we also talked about some of the health benefits when it comes to flirting.
All right. So some of the health benefits when it comes to flirting, it really includes the following. It boosts your self-esteem, your confidence. It reduces stress. Yes, it reduces stress in your body. And we know that in a world with a lot of people who have social anxieties or whatever, flirting can really be a way to like really remove the pressure points. Okay.
When it's done the right way and for the right reasons.
This is true. All right. Right way and for the right reasons. It can also improve your communication skills. We all need to enhance our nonverbal cues, right? And then it also can help you feel more sexy.
Absolutely. So next we got into the 5 different ways that people do flirt, the 5 different flirting styles. The first was the traditional. This adheres to traditional gender specific roles, such as the women signaling receptiveness through eye contact and the man making the first move when it comes to establishing verbal communication. And you said this is your preferred method of flirting, right?
It is. I love that leadership. I love a man who can lead. So yes, I like the idea of the guy kind of leading in that flirt and that flirty way.
Right.
And then we have the physical, right? And that's where you express sexuality, desire, and interest through nonverbal behaviors like open body language, touch. So it doesn't mean that you're letting people touch you, but it does mean that your body language is open, right? And so you're not like crossing your arms or whatever. It just allows you to be a little bit more receptive and showing people that you're open to interactions.
Absolutely. And the third one is sincere. This is forming an emotional bond with your partner or a partner by being friendly, making them feel comfortable, and creating a good rapport. And this is where we get into where it can be a little tricky when it comes to the lines being blurred, whether we're being flirty or maybe we're just being friendly.
Exactly.
And so maybe we can be a little over friendly where oftentimes it can be misinterpreted as flirting. And so we have to be very careful when we talk about this sincere portion.
All right. Then we have the playful flirting. That's when you see the goal of flirting as fun. It's all about the fun, right? Rather than trying to start a relationship, you just want to have a good time. You want to make the person laugh. You want to laugh. You want to joke, and you want to tease a little bit.
Absolutely. And the last one, this goes hand in hand with sincere. It's polite. It's behaving in ways that are moral, cautious, and reserved in order to not embarrass yourself, to avoid rejection, and also to be selective. So this is really just primarily focusing on being a decent human being and being respectful and mindful of other people. I mean,
that sounds a little judgy, right?
Well, what's interesting is that in the world that we live in, being polite is similar to customer service, where just conducting yourself in a way where you're mindful and attentive to other people will oftentimes help you to have to build your business.
You're right.
And it's not necessarily you doing anything special more than just what is the norm, but what it has been kind of reduced to. So now for a lot of us who grew up with this idea of the importance of customer service or being polite, now those things are at a premium, where even doing that is considered something that would be a help and a benefit to you, regardless of what your benefit in. All right. So with those 4 flirting styles, we want to ask you the question, based on those styles, which method would you prefer when someone is flirting with you? So what way do you prefer to be flirted with? Charmaine already mentioned hers, which is the traditional.
Yes.
I know that for me, it's the sincere. I will say that.
Okay.
I really, this whole idea of being able to build this natural rapport and bond with a person as it relates to just getting to know them and them genuinely getting to know me and taking an interest in who I am as a person and wanting to know and hear more about me and my life. That's just something that it really endears me to them, and it allows me to build a connection. And I will admit, there have been times where I have had those types of conversations with people in my younger years, and I thought it was flirting. Women. With women, and I thought it was flirting, and it wasn't. It was really just someone that was just trying to be friendly, and that's why we say that it is very important that you be very cautious in how you proceed in this. And so just being very mindful of your why and the motives behind your actions. So again, that's our first speak now question of the night is, what is your preferred method of you being flirted with and why?
All right. I just wanted to add to, when we broke down like the love languages, right? To me, it goes back to that. A lot of times in relationships, we can often get ourselves in trouble because the way that we prefer to flirt with others, right, is often the way we notice people flirting with us, right? And so it's never just okay for us to be aware of our flirt style because it's possible that people have been flirting with you for a long time and you just have been missing it because you only recognize what your definition, what it looks, feels, and sounds like for you to flirt with someone else. And that is what in return you're looking to for those behaviors in others. And so tonight we want you to make sure that you are expanding your definition, your idea of what flirting can look, feel, and sound like, so that you're not missing any cues, nonverbal cues, and different approaches for how people are really trying to engage with you.
You're tuned into Before I Do. Tonight, we are talking about what is your flirt language. This is part 2 of our series. We are going to take a really brief commercial break. But before we do, once again, we just want to remind you of our Speak Now question of the night based on the 5 flirting styles: traditional, physical, sincere, playful, or polite. Which method would you prefer that someone flirt with you in, and why? We're going to take a really brief commercial break, and we'll be right back with more Before I Do.
Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.
Welcome back to Before I Do. Tonight we are talking about what is your flirt language, part 2, and our Speak Now question of the night was based on the 5 different flirting styles that we described. Which one do you prefer to be flirted in, and why? Spark the Grill says, I'm a bit of it all. That's kind of cheap.
What is wrong with my bell?
That is kind of that's kind of cheap. But you had a really interesting comment in regards to that, right? So
Spark the Grill, I'm sure there's a strategy, right? Do you use them all at one time in one sitting? Or is this spread out through the course of like a dating process, like 5 dates, 10, or is this just your social norm? Like maybe you're out, you're at a club, you're at a party, you're at a social gathering. Do you find yourself kind of engaging through all of them? Or I don't know. This is a lot of questions. Spark the Grill. We got to talk, okay? Or for you, do you pick the flirting style based on the person you're flirting with?
Absolutely.
Are you a good people person? Because there are people who are very people smart.
Yeah.
And they can really pick up, they people watch. I like to people watch, right? They people watch and they really determine how to flirt with a person according to the energy and the vibe they give off.
Ring the bell on that, because that's actually what I was getting ready to go to. And Spark, I don't know what you did, but my little niece, you done encouraged her. She said every last one of them. I actually enjoy when someone flirts with me in different ways and not just once, which is legitimate. But that is a really interesting point. And one of the challenges I will say growing up as a young man is you recognize that you want to become a student of watching people. And so you want to try to pick the right style to connect with someone. But boy, when you choose wrong, Oh my goodness. Because if you choose the physical and put your hands on somebody who does not want to be touched, yeah, that is not,
no-go.
You do not want to pick wrong. And so you do definitely have to become a student. But also you have to be sincere. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things that I learned, and I think is very important, is that you want to make sure that whatever you're doing, that you're sincere in it. Mm-hmm. Be quick to apologize if you offend someone with the style that you use. Mm-hmm. And so make sure that when it comes to, if you're going to toggle between all 5 of the styles, make sure that you're committed and that you're genuine as far as the style that you choose. So if you all remember last week, we actually gave you all the opportunity. We put up the quiz for you all to figure out exactly what is your flirt personality type. So similar, what is your flirt language? So similar to Dr. Gary Chapman and the 5 love languages, there is actually a flirt language test where you can figure out exactly what your flirt language is. And we gave you all those QR codes last week. There's a flirt test for those of you who identify as women, and there's a flirt test for men. And so we're going to show that after we're done, because we know that if we show that again now, some of y'all not going to listen to us and try to run and take the test when you should have took it last. You should have tuned in last week and took it last week.
Well, tell them how many questions, because
37 questions, and they are about halfway essay questions. So it is very thorough. Somebody was complaining about all the questions that they were.
Take it in the morning when your brain is fresh.
But it was a really interesting test,
really
and it's
was
very
good.
thorough.
It
gives you various scenarios and asks you for your response. And so it really does, I think, give you a comprehensive look at how much of a flirt you are. And so we're actually going to get into ours.
Yeah, they want to know, what kind of flirt are we? All right. So Walter, here are your results. So Walter, he scored a 56 as far as general flirting. So
out of 100. 56 out of 100.
So overall, 56% of the time, you might find him as a flirt. So obviously, it's kind of, it's half of his practice, when he engages with people. And what that means, it means that you may not flirt with the frequency or intensity as a love-struck fool or a romantic comedy star, but you're not a stranger to romancing. Yes, that's what I like. So you are moderately flirtatious. Okay. You and it says pretty much you don't lay it on too thick. You prefer to be a subtle seducer. Yes, that's suave. So you're subtle, okay? You leave prospective lovers wondering what's going on in their heart, okay? What's going on in their heart, and dying to know more. See, to me, that's the swag, right? That's giving just enough flirt to make you want more and to be interested. You seem to have struck a good balance between being a cold fish and a full-blown flirt fanatic.
Well, what I will say is that this is pretty accurate for me. It's pretty accurate. But this is absolutely me. I'm kind of right in the middle. And as I mentioned, when we actually talked about this topic, flirting was something that I actually had a hard time doing. And it is a part, again, of being authentic. So I never want to do anything that is inauthentic. And so it's hard to really put the whole mask on when it comes to flirting with somebody. Okay, and this person, they look like they would like this style. It's like, look, I'm just gonna be me. And so if that's not good enough for you, that's gonna have to be fine with me. And so for me, I absolutely, I'm right in the middle. I usually like to pick up on nonverbal cues when it comes to the traditional side. If I look at somebody and they look back at me and they shoot me a smile, and if you look a little too long, if it's not a glance and smile and you look away and you looking a little long, or you look me up and down, that's usually the cue for me. And so I look for those type of nonverbal cues to then move into the whole idea of verbally engaging and potentially connecting with someone.
Now, let's be clear, okay? Because, if you're married out there, first of all, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get it. I'm not gonna get into that.
Chomping at the bit.
Okay. I think that's important to know, though, because when you take the assessment, I had to think to myself, okay, am I thinking as if I was a single woman versus, if you're married or whatever. So most of the scenarios, it really, they really speak to as if you're single. and not in a committed relationship. So do want to put that out there. And so you want to embody that mindset, right? But married couples, definitely, we'll get into that, but it is very important for married couples to flirt. We have clients. It doesn't matter if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, your partner wants to be flirted with married couples. So don't think that this show is not for you as well, because you want to make sure you enhance your ability and your flirt style.
Yeah, put a pin in that, because that's part of our next Speak Now question. We are going to get into it. And so, Miss Charmaine, much to the surprise of no one, on a scale of 100, Charmaine is a 29. She way low down there, because Charmaine does not play when it comes. She's very traditional. So it says most of the time you would prefer to reserve the flirting for love-struck teenagers and third-rate romantic comedies. You do not really want to be a part of it. There may be an abundance of reasons why some people don't usually flirt. Perhaps they're in a relationship and don't think it's appropriate. They think it's frivolous and in bad taste, or they simply don't know how to flirt. That's not the case with you. You definitely know how to flirt. Whatever the reason or rationale behind your general unwillingness, now that's the reason to bat your eyelids or speak sweet words of flattery. Flirting is not something you do often or with a great deal of pleasure, and that's okay, because when it comes to wooing, not everyone is entirely comfortable. So this is absolutely you, Charmaine. Just so you all know, she's very traditional. She does not believe in you're gonna have to work for it. I had to, just so y'all know, 23 years I had to work for it, and still where every day I get up and put on my hard hat and my boots. And it is, but she is, again, she believes in being guarded in a way to where a person has to really work at getting to know her. Not that she is standoffish or cold, but just very protective of her energy and making sure that she is not necessarily allowing herself to be open and vulnerable to anyone or anything. And we're also very spiritual people as well. So a lot of the way she carries herself, it really is a way, and with women particularly, it's very important for women to really be extra vigilant when it comes to guarding their heart, guarding their mind, and not allowing themselves to be open and vulnerable to a lot of the games that people play, just being honest.
Okay, well, you just went ahead and dissected me and analyzed me. Yeah. But I will say this, it is true. I like the traditional flirt style. I do like leadership in men, but I'm a sincere person too. So I like, you have to come and be organic and authentic. And it's true. I can really kind of discern if somebody is really trying too hard. It's like, relax. Let's just have a conversation. And so for me, that's important. And it takes, for me to even be comfortable flirting with someone, I need to at least feel like intellectually I'm connected to you. And, and emotionally there are things that draw us both. And so, other than that, I will not extend the energy in flirting, because I'm sorry. You even told me this, that a lot of times guys, you can just say hello and it'll be a group of guys saying, yes, you want to have sex with me.
Get down.
Really? Does everything go back to sex? Okay. And so I think I've gotten over the years, like, not wanting to send out the signal that, no, I'm not. I'm just saying hello. I don't want to sleep with you. So it's almost one of those things where, I don't want to send any wrong signals by saying hello. Does not mean I want to sleep with you.
And we actually have a comment that says, "Oh, Mrs., you're old school and it's awesome." Yes, she ring the bell, please. Yay. Yes, she absolutely is old school. I love it. I appreciate it. And I will say this: every man knows that when your woman is that way and you earn it, then that's something that is, you believe is not necessarily accessible to everyone. And so that it does something that makes you feel good and special. Now, this gets into our second Speak Now question of the night. Okay. And just as Charmaine mentioned, right? So our Speak Now question of the night, we're going to jump right into it. Should you flirt with others if you are in a marriage or a committed relationship? Why or why not? So when we think about flirting, the question is flirting exclusively for individuals that are single, or, as you mentioned, is flirting if I'm married, just for my spouse? So part of that again is when it comes to my personality when I'm not with my wife, when I'm hanging out with my friends? Is it okay for me to engage in flirtatious acts with other people? So what say you?
Well, for me, if you are in a monogamous relationship, a committed relationship, even if you're not married, right? I believe that, flirting should be reserved for your partner. And I'm just going to tell you why, because you got to put in work. Okay. So first of all, the longer you've been in a relationship, whether you're married or you're in a monogamous relationship, things can grow old, things can grow stale. So you have research to do. It's easy to flirt with someone you just met at the club. Like, it's easy to flirt with someone you've only known for a week or two. I mean, because you got all of your strategies and things are fresh. But when you've been with somebody a year, 2 years, I mean, you have to keep doing research. You have to continue to learn how to flirt verbally, now with words, now with visuals, now you're getting poetic with your language. Now you're using alliterations, and you're talking about sex, but you're not even saying sex. Like, you have to get more and more creative and deeper with the flirt language. And so I think, I think it needs to be reserved for a committed monogamous relationship, whether you're married or you're dating. Now, I mean, you're long-term dating someone, right? But if you just, I believe it should be reserved to that, because you have to work harder to flirt, keep things new, fresh, and yeah.
All right. So again, our speak now question of the night, number 2 is, should you flirt with others if you are in a marriage or a committed relationship? Why or why not? We are going to take another brief commercial break, and we'll be right back. We're going to talk about the difference between, is there a difference between flirting and teasing? So we're going to come right back with more. Before I do, stay tuned, everybody.
All right, welcome back to Before I Do, and tonight's topic is, what is your flirt language, part 2. Before the break, we asked you a question. If you are in a committed relationship or you're married, should you flirt with other people? Should that be okay? If it's some people believe it's just a simple act, I'm not harming anyone. Can flirting be harmful if you're married and you're in a committed relationship?
Yeah.
What say you?
Yeah, the scenario is, I'm married, I'm in a committed relationship, I'm going out with my homeboys. Charmaine is going out with her homegirls. And again, it's girls' night out, it's guys' night out. We end up meeting another group of ladies. What's the boundary? Do I flirt with other women when I'm out? And absolutely, I agree. I think that is a recipe for especially if you're in a monogamous relationship, to potentially compromise in your relationship. So it's very important that you don't cross those bounds. It's one thing to have a platonic, candid conversation with someone. It's one thing to dance with somebody, but when you're finding yourself having a drink with someone, having an intimate conversation with them, dancing with them, going into a corner, separating yourself from friends, now that's something where you're beginning to cross the bounds that's going to potentially compromise your relationship.
And I will say this, because you mentioned something about dancing. Now, I'm going to tell you, when they put that song on and you are out there on the dance floor and the lights are hitting you just right, the lights are hitting that person right, and it's your song. I mean, the dance floor can be a dangerous place because it literally, our bodies are in close proximity.
Right.
I mean, if the music is sensual and sexual, I don't know what's the line between flirting, teasing, and just having a very nice dance with some.
So here's my recommendation on that. First of all, there's got to be the middle school, elementary school rule. You need like 4 or 5 feet between you. So you need some feet between you. So the way that I dance with my wife when I go out is not the way that I dance with other people when I go out. Number 2,
this is true.
Number 2 is I want to be careful that it's not more than one song. Because again, that's allowing again a connection. I'm sweating, I'm moving, I'm having a good time. So I got to be careful that I'm not entering into this second song, this third song, because I'm building a connection. So again, that is for
Buy me a drink.
Yeah, exactly. Now we move into the bar to get you a drink. Now we're having a conversation. And again, those are things that really begin to get your mind wandering and could potentially end up into what Hassani calls a close call relationship. And so with some of the response we got, no, and no. That's between married couples only. Quita says no. It's very disrespectful to your spouse flirting outside of the relationship. Now, what is the difference we talked about off camera between flirting and teasing, right? So, and again, remember that second half definition of flirting, right? Where we said flirting is engaging with someone for sexual desire, not always, or just playful amusement. So part of the challenge with flirting, right, is that what you may be projecting, what your goal may be playfully amusement, the person on the other side may see it as a sexual desire that this person actually wants me. Now, can you control the person on the other side of that? No. But what you can control is yourself. So part of that is being able to understand your boundaries, is being honest about your intentions. And when you see that someone is definitely picking up on something that you're not necessarily trying to project, be sure that you check it and make moves accordingly.
So now we're going to go into the definition of teasing.
Yep.
So now what is teasing? Teasing is tempting.
Yeah,
I don't even have to
bell for me on that.
I don't even have to read the rest of the definition. Okay,
Preach
it's
it.
tempting someone sexually with no intention. Gotta ring the bell. No intention to satisfy the desire aroused. You know you're teasing when you're trying to get, somebody switches their bodies, all of these switches turning on, okay? And all the private places, and they're like ready. And next thing you know, it's to me, it's like dangling the carrot, right? In front of them, you lead them to this place only to slam the door. Like, do not collect $200, do not pass go. Nothing is happening. And so, to be honest, a lot of this does happen on the dance floor.
Absolutely.
You feeling all sexy, good about yourself. And I mean, you just dancing, you giving the person a whole headline at the strip club dance tease, knowing it's called a dance tease for a reason. Okay.
You got to go home to your partner. Yeah, don't do that.
Knowing that, nothing's going to happen at the end of this experience. That is the difference between flirting and teasing. You are promising something that you're not going to deliver on.
And to be clear, we're not talking about, again, that me and this person are actually interested in dating. And so are you saying that I'm teasing them by dancing with them that way and I don't sleep with them the same night? No. The point is that, again, that sexual desire that you're exuding and this idea that we're connected in that way, and you have no intention of actually potentially seeing how far this can go, maybe not necessarily on that night, but in the future, you're treading on some dangerous ground when it comes to teasing.
Yeah, and nowadays it seems like people are more clear with their communication, more open. It's okay to say, hey, I'm just here to have a great time and hang out with my friends, right? Or I'm not looking to to start a relationship with somebody I met in this environment, right? So it's okay to put your expectations out there, and that's okay.
And let me say this too. My father has a phrase that we love. He said, you can make your mouth say anything. Ring the bell.
Hey.
So ladies, let me hip y'all the game. The reason why I bring that up is because there are some ladies, when you meet them, I got a man. Now, here's the thing, right? For guys, what we hear is game on. What we hear is challenge accepted.
Wow.
Because if you got a man, there's a certain threshold or a certain line that you won't cross. And a lot of men, their goal is to see if I can get you to cross that line, to see if I can get you to betray your boundaries. Because if I can get you to cross those lines and cross those boundaries, then it don't matter if you got a man or not. You don't mean that. What you're just saying is that it may be an obstacle there, but if you are vigilant and strong enough and resilient enough, then you may be able to get around the passes. So I'm just being honest and transparent on that. My name is Walter Jennings, and I approve that message.
Well, you know, I've heard men respond to that line where your man lets you out the house looking like that.
And the reason why I bring that up is because you have to make sure that your actions align with your words.
This is true.
So if you're saying that you have a man, whatever it is that your standards are, then make sure that those things are reflective of the relationship that you are in. Because if you are allowing yourself to go do certain things and go over some boundaries that for someone, if you were in a relationship with the person that you having this interaction and encounter with, I'm just saying.
You know, and it really is very damaging, damaging for you to say, oh, well, I'm a Christian woman. Please don't lead with that. Don't lead. And I only say that not to offend, but I say that because there's so many women that lead with that. And then that's thrown back up in their face if their actions, behavior, they don't align with you being this Christian woman. What does that mean, right? Does that mean that, okay, you're not going to sleep with this man before you're married or whatever that means to you? Say what you mean what you say, and, try not to say it in a mean way.
Absolutely. So great comment coming in. Teasing is a form of flirting. It's okay as a couple, but not outside the boundaries of the marriage.
Absolutely.
And Nina says that is 100. So ring the bell for
that,
please. Listen, you all, this has been we knew this was going to be a fire topic tonight. And so we are going to come back next week. Be sure to tune in. We're talking about when flirting goes wrong.
That's right. When it goes wrong. Very wrong.
When you guess wrong, when it goes wrong, when it's done wrong. We are going to talk about the what's it called? I guess the
recovery process,
the misappropriation of flirting.
Yeah, how do
flirting
you recover?
Is not done right.
I will say this too, though, for those of you who are married out there, right? For those of you who are married, I'm going to tell you again. Being married is no excuse, okay, for you not to be flirting with your partner. Okay, it is a week to week, day to day. You need to be flirting with your partner. Nonverbal flirting, to me, that's the best. When he can read my eyes, I can read his eyes. I can just put on the outfit. I don't even have to say nothing. I can just walk across the room. He knows what's going on. Okay. So sometimes you want to enhance your nonverbal communication. Your paraverbal communication is important. That's your tone, how you say it, your rhythm of speech, all of that. Communication is not just words, right? There's verbal communication, nonverbal communication, and paraverbal communication, which is not what you say, but how you say it, right? And so we all need to be constantly enhancing our communication. It is only as good as the person on the other end receiving it. And so we all have, moments where we don't land the communication that we want to get out to our partner, but flirting is a part of sending signals, right? Verbal signals, nonverbal signals. And it's so important to keep that form of intimacy in your relationship. So I'm just going to say it again. Married folk, get on your job. When was the last time you sent your husband or your wife that picture, right? Or you flirted with words, or you're using some word play as foreplay. Like, come on now. We have work to do, married couples.
Ring the bell for me, please. Thank y'all so much for tuning into Before I Do this week. Once again, be sure to not only tune in next week, but also reach out to us at couplesacademy.org. Book us for a session. We would love to partner with you on your individual journey, or even for those of you who are in relationships. Let us come alongside and pair with you and help to guide you on the path to fulfillment. I want to say thank you to everyone for the great comments about our performance once again at the Phoenix Gala Award. Thank you, Miss Pettiford, for being there and for allowing us our time. Be sure you clock back into the job, and be sure that you clock back in next Wednesday night for another edition of Before I Do, everybody. Good night. We'll see y'all next week.